And make sure my volume is up. There we go. Make sure my volume is up. Let's see, get rid of that. Okay. Keyframe rate too low. I don't know what that means. Hello, hello. Alexa, volume down. Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know who's here, who's joining me tonight on this beautiful Thursday. Who's joining me? Let me know. I can't see. I see some views, but I can't see who's on there. So I would love for you to type your name or say hello and where you're watching from. Hola, hola. Glad you're tuning in with me tonight. I missed last week. Had some unexpected things come up. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Get started a little early tonight because I don't plan to be on probably 15-20 minutes. My topic is not that diverse, but it's more so just a little conversation, something to plant in our minds for the people that watch tonight or even go back and watch the replay. It's a little something to think about as we get ready to enter a whole new year. You know, we don't need to begin a new year with an old mindset. We don't want to begin a new year with old habits that we didn't necessarily like in this past year or years. So we want to be able to begin this new year Okay, let me turn the music off. Alexa, turn off. Like I was saying, we don't want to begin a new year with an old mindset. We don't want to begin a new year with old habits and things like that. So this is just one of those topics that I think is necessary in trying to do better. A lot of people are saying 2023 is my year. 2023 is this, and I'm going to do this in 2023, and I'm going to be this and this, that, and the other. Okay, well, we need to make sure that we don't drag the old stuff into the new year, you know, and we just have to be very careful and watchful and honest with ourselves as to what we're not bringing into the new year, and then what we need to do within ourselves to not bring it within to the new year. So that's kind of what tonight's topic is about. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I'm not really concerned with the, you know, who's viewing right now, because a lot of people watch the replay. But I want to thank you all for tuning in to PC Ministries, where we deal with what you feel from the inside out. I normally say at the beginning of my shows that I am not coming to you because I have arrived or I have all the answers. I'm just really sharing from you from what thus said the Lord, what God has laid on my heart as it pertains to the mission and the goal of PC Ministries is to deal with what you feel from the inside out, to create a dialogue, to help us heal from past traumas and just different things that we deal with on the inside that don't necessarily show up on the outside all the time, or are not always reflected on the outside. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Those of you that will watch the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Feel free to share the video. Feel free to go to the PC Ministries page and go through the photos and the videos and find those videos. That I will not remove those videos, so they'll be there forever for you to watch, go back to at any point in time. So I just thank you for tuning in. So with that being said, our topic tonight is raising our expectations. And I battled with saying raising our expectations or raising our level of expectations. So I'm gonna probably toggle between the two because I just want to make sure that I want us to make sure as we move into this new year and this new me and this people, you know, I have some shirts for Talking Tees that says me season, access denied, apology accepted, but access is denied. I'm moving into a me season. It's my time. It's my time. We want to make sure that when we set these expectations for ourselves, that they're ours, that they are the expectation that we really have for ourselves. Make sure that they are ours and not someone else's. Sometimes people can place their expectations on you in your life. People can place their expectations on what you should be doing, or their expectations on how you should be raising your children, how you should wear your hair, where you should live, what kind of job you should have. People will put those expectations on you, and because we may trust these people's opinion, or it really means a lot what they think about us, what they say to us, we take that on and we try to live up to that which they have mentioned or that which they have said. And a lot of times that becomes frustrating because it's not really what we truly want for ourselves. And a lot of times I found out too, as being a parent, sometimes we can place those expectations on our children and they grow up trying to meet those expectations, and it's not necessarily their expectations. So there is a fine line that, as far as parents are concerned, that we have to play when we're having a level of expectation of our children. Now, I'm not saying we're not supposed to have an expectation. Yes, but we have to watch how we are sharing those expectations with our children, and especially as they grow and get older and move into teenage years and then young adulthood and things like that. We have to be careful how we project the push. You know, like parents like to push our children to make sure, you know, that they're striving for their goals and they're going, and we have to be careful how we push them into those expectations so that it does not become a burden to them or unfair to them based on what they truly want for their lives. So y'all know I like definitions, but expectation, I think everybody pretty much knows what expectation is. An expectation is a firm belief that something will happen, that you are expecting something to happen based off of what you do, what you set forth, what you're striving for, you have an expectation that is going to happen. So a lot of times that like I said, we get mixed up in meeting expectations of what others have placed on us, and we adapt those expectations as our own expectations, and then we go through life meeting them and doing this, and then we get, because a lot of women are waking up, a lot of people are waking up, and when we wake up and we're becoming true to who we are, those aren't our expectations. So sometimes we battle with what we want to do, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what we're going to do, because those aren't really our expectations. Okay, so self-expectations can provide clarity, direction, and accountability. The downside to setting, your self-expectations and raising the level of expectation is that it can lead to avoidance, confusion, and isolation, which means that sometimes we will experience obstacles that prevent us from reaching, achieving, or meeting our own expectations, or the expectations that we personally set. And what I mean by sometimes we can meet obstacles in setting those expectations. An obstacle is a thing that blocks one's way or prevents or hinders progress. That's what an obstacle is. So sometimes when we begin to set our own, I want to be clear, we're talking about our own expectations. So a lot of times when we begin to set our own expectations, especially when we have allowed others to set them, when we finally stand up and use our voice, and like expectations provide clarity and direction and accountability for what it is we want, it'll cause confusion and isolation, because now you will find that, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, you'll find that once you start setting those expectations based on what you want, and then pretty much setting boundaries, you'll find that a lot of people will fall off. A lot of relationships will become distant and not as friendly as they were in the past, because some people was only there because of their need of us, or what we were providing for them, or because we were doing what they wanted us to do. Again, this is not all relationships, and this is not all friendships, but the ones that fall off when you begin to set your expectations, your own expectations about whatever it is, or when you begin to set those boundaries, those friendships and those relationships that fall off, then it's just time for them to fall off. Because why should an expectation or a boundary cause someone to leave your life, cause someone not to want to be around you, or be with you, or be friends with you, or whatever, if their motives were pure? So that's what I mean by sometimes when we set our expectations and we're clear and we're given directions about what it is we want in life, what it is we want in whatever the expectation you're setting. When we begin to set those things, make that clear, sometimes we can experience obstacles or confusion and things like that that'll kind of keep us from setting the expectation. Or, hey Arlene, how are you? Thank you for joining. Sometimes we can get caught up in not wanting to follow through with our expectation, because when we set them or we do those boundaries, people fall off. And like I said, if they fall off because you are being clear with your expectation, or a lot of times we have lived up to other people's expectations of us for years, and now all of a sudden we want to stand up and we want to be clear on what we want. They're not used to that. So a lot of times when we do that, when we wake up or when we come to us being ourselves, that will cause people whose intentions were not right, or whose motives were not quite right, or who's not willing to reciprocate it, the friendship. It'll cause them to get gets distant or isolate themselves or not wanting to be your friend because they can't use you or they can't make you do what it is they want you to do. So we have to be aware that once we raise our expectations from where they were, people may fall off. People may fall off. Let me ask you this. Since we're talking about raising, I'm going to say raising our level of expectation, because I want to say that we as people, we do have some sort of expectation. And I think that again, I coach, anybody that needs a transformation coach, y'all hit me up. But I think I coach a lot of women, and I've mentored a lot of women in the past. And what I find is that we have a level of expectation, and we do grow, we do evolve, we do change, we change chapters. The narratives in our lives change, or we change relationships, or we just change, or we evolve. But a lot of times when we go from level to level, hey Tammy, how are you? Thank you for joining. A lot of times when we go from level to level in whatever it is, an expectation can be in and of anything. So I don't have anything in particular. I'm just talking about raising our level of expectation. Like, again, we're talking about raising our level of expectation tonight for PCMinistries Thursday Night Live, what we do with what you feel from the inside out. But with raising our level of expectation, you can't raise to this level of, whatever it is you're trying to raise to this level. If you were here and now you are raising here, your commitment or hey, Jana, your commitment is here, or your responsibility is here, or you are now here in whatever it is, you have to raise your expectation from here to here. You can't cultivate what it's going to take for you to maintain this expectation or this area of your life with this expectation. So this expectation, which was fine when you were there, but when you go here or when you come here, you have to raise this expectation. You have to increase it. You have to add to it. So whatever you gain here, you got to add to it to get you here. So we can't, and I say that to say, we can't enter into 2023 with an old mindset, with old habits, and again, PCMinistries, we deal with what you feel from the inside out. So I don't want to see it. We can talk the talk, and we can do the slogan, and it can be cliched and trendy and TikTok and all of that. But if you're not really doing the work, making the necessary changes that, how we do when we set these New Year's resolutions and stuff like this, resolutions, if you're not going to really do the work, then hush. Because you have to do the work. When people say, I'm not doing this in 2023, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be a new, that's wonderful. And I don't want us to be in the same, like I don't personally, Paula, I don't want to be in the same thought process, some of the habits that I have right now to this day that I've developed over this last year that I'm not really proud of, and some other things that I want to change. I don't want to be here December the 8th, 2023. So the change in that, the level that I need to raise in that, I need to make the changes. Hi, just keep me in your prayers. Amen. I sure will, Tammy. Yes, I sure will. And if you need me to pray with you, just inbox me, and then we can call and talk. But of course, I will keep you in prayer. But if we are to make those changes that we need to make, then it starts with us. So we have to do, we have to make the changes. And again, I want to see us all elevate. I want to see us all raise our level, go from, go whatever it is you want to raise your expectation to. Whatever your level is, you got to raise it. I don't want to see us just stay here in mediocrity or be mediocre. If you've been mediocre this whole year, it's time to raise your expectation. What is your personal expectation. Let me ask you this question. Again, we talked about the self-expectations. Some will provide clarity, will give you clarity and direction, not only for yourself, but those around you, those people that you deal with. It's going to all cause clarity. But sometimes when we set expectations, or we voice what our expectations are, when they don't meet the expectations that others have placed on us, or when we have spent years living up to others and performing what others' expectations of us are, when we decide to voice our own expectations, it will sometimes cause people to leave. It could be a lonely place for us because we've made this change. So you have to be aware of that could possibly happen when you're raising your level of expectation. But you're worth it. You are worth it. You don't have to stay in the same place. If you desire change, if you desire to increase your expectation, I'm not saying that we don't have expectations and the expectations we have are not good or high enough. I'm not saying that. We're talking about raising them, raising the level of expectation. What do you expect of yourself? What do you expect of yourself in your relationships, your career, how you handle your business, how you carry yourself, how you manage your money, the type of friends you have, your relationships, your marriage. What is your expectation in all of these? Yes, Arlene, exactly. Cause a shift. It will cause a shift. And I don't want us to look at the shifts, or like when we was raising our girls, we would teach them about the fork in the road. When you come to a fork in the road, some gonna go left, some gonna go right. And it doesn't mean either person is right or wrong or vice versa. It's just a fork in the road. And life goes on and it moves on either way. And it does cause a shift. And you have to stay true to what your expectation of yourself is. And that's what this is all about, making sure that our expectations are ours. That making sure that the expectations that are placed on us is from us. It is from us, especially now that we're waking up in this upcoming new year. We're waking up and we're wising up and we're bosses and all of that. We want to make sure we're operating from our own expectations. Let me ask you this question. Do you allow others to dictate to you what your expectations are or should be? And these are questions I want you to ask yourself. Do you allow other people, or have you allowed other people to dictate to you what your expectations are or what they should be? And this is a personal question I want you to ask yourself. I had to ask myself that question. And yeah. And I'm not saying that the people that have the expectations of you or place those expectations on you are wrong or bad people. I'm not saying that. Arlene said also understand and growth. Yeah, sometimes growing can be painful. It can. But I think that you're worth it. Like we have to see the value in that and not take offense to it when certain things don't go like we thought, as it pertains to us voicing our expectations or standing up for ourselves in that area. So like I said, I'm not saying that people who had expectations of us were bad people. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I just want us to make sure that the expectations that we are living up to are ours. Sometimes people can have expectations of us and they can become ours, especially if it's something that, hey Felicia, especially if it's something that we want. That's okay. Because sometimes people mean well. Sometimes people motivate you. They push, and they place these expectations because they see greatness in you. They see that you can do more. They see that, it's like a motivation or encouragement, as long as it's something that you want to do and not for their approval, or you don't know how to tell them no, so you just go along with it over and over. Just make sure that the expectation you set are yours, are are your expectations. There is nothing wrong with you setting your own expectations. If your expectations or boundaries disappoint other people, and so be it. Oh, okay. I'm on both. I got I'm not sure which. I got my page on my computer and PCMinistries on my phone. So it's either one of them. I just can't tell the viewers on the computer. So I'm just talking. I can't tell who's on here, but it doesn't matter. I know people watch it and some watch the replay. So I'm good. I'm just glad you're listening. But I just want us to make sure that the expectations that are being set, we have some input in them. And they're what we want. And encourage you, give you the strength and the encouragement to voice your own expectations. If you've been doing something for people or other people for years, and you know within yourself that this is not something you want to either do or either you want to continue to do, then you have the right, thank you Felicia, you have the right to make that change. You have that right. Like, you have a voice. You have a voice. So I just want us to make sure that when we talk, as we talk about raising our level of expectation, that is our expectation. And I'm not saying that people who have expectations on us are all bad people. I'm not saying that, but just make sure that the expectations that are placed on us are ours. Okay, now we have jobs and careers and things like that, that the expectation of the job performances is set. And you have to operate under that expectation for the job. But just know the difference between your job, friendship, relationships versus what you want for your life. That's what I'm talking about. Be honest with yourself with what you want for your life. So again, I ask you, do you allow others to dictate to you what your expectations are or what your expectations should be? What is your state of mind as it pertains to your personal expectations? Like, what is your state of mind? Like, how do you feel about setting your own expectations? Like, some people don't like to do it because it's always been done for them. Some people don't like to set expectations because they are afraid of failure. Have to be honest. Yes, ma'am. You have to be. And it just comes a time in life, Felicia, that we have to, if we haven't been honest with ourselves, it comes a point in time in life that we have to get to the point to where we're being honest with ourselves. Because if we're just going through the motions and doing what others want all the time, you're not happy. You can find happiness in that, little bits and pieces of happiness somewhere, but when you get down, like I always say, at the end of the day, when you with yourself, by yourself, with yourself, are you truly happy with have you done the thing that you wanted to do? Are you in the place that you want to be? Are you doing the thing or the things that you want to do? And that's what I'm talking about. What is your personal expectation? A lot of times we don't have an expectation because they've been given to us. A lot of times we don't have an expectation because we have roles, ROLES. We have jobs. We're daughters. Some of us, Felicia, some of us are taking care of our grandparents. Some of us take care of our parents. Some of us have children. So we don't even think about an expectation for ourselves because we're in roles, ROLES. And I'm not saying taking care of your parents and grandparents and children, I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm just saying sometimes we don't even think about an expectation for ourselves. We don't even think about it. And again, this is what PCMinistries is about, to make us think, start a dialogue, give you some encouragement to grow, to do what you feel from the inside out. That's what this is about. And I want to, as we get ready to go into, this new year, I want us to start this new year really going after everything God has in store for us. going after it, not depending on somebody to go after it with you, go after it for you and let you know. No, we're going to have to go after this stuff for ourselves. For ourselves. And we have to become aware of ourselves. We have to be accountable to our actions and our habits and the things that we don't want to take into the new year. Like I said earlier, if we don't want to take it into the new year, we have to face what it is. Because again, whatever we don't like that we don't want to take into the new year, there's a common denominator in that. So you want to look at your part in what it is that you don't want to take into the new year, so you yourself, me, don't take it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to really address it and own it and take an acknowledgement of what it is and set your expectations. Like, what is your expectation for your new year? Yours, not what somebody else said or not what somebody else implied or suggested, unless that's what you want. What is your expectation? So we talked about the obstacles. You might experience the obstacles that will prevent you from reaching, achieving, or meeting your expectations. The expectations that you personally set. So those, we said obstacles was a thing that blocks one's way or prevents or hinders progress. So what obstacles are preventing you from meeting your expectations? I know this is a fresh topic, so you may not even know the answer to that. But what obstacles do you think? If you know what they are, put them in the comments. If you think about it, and you could be like, I'm dealing with this now, or this has been my history, whatever. This is gonna cause me. This is gonna be an obstacle, causing me not to meet my expectations in this new year. What are those? What are those obstacles? What could they be? Ask yourself that question. This is how we're gonna get to the bottom of, why we don't have the expectation, where we need to raise our level of expectation from. Like I said earlier, if you were here with your expectation, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with being here. But if what you're doing and where you're going, you're now here, you can't operate here in a full capacity with this expectation. Like this level of expectation here has to increase to accommodate this level of where you are now. This expectation, you can build on it and take what you've learned here, the good, leave the bad where it need to go. But increase this level of this level so it can come up to this level. And each level as you go, we should be striving for more greatness. Not perfection, but we should be striving to be more, striving to be better at whatever it is. So we can't take the old, this level here is not going to be good enough. It's not going to be enough for this level. You can start here, but you have to increase this to keep up with this level here that you're going to. Arlene said being distracted by others. Yeah, that's an obstacle. That's an obstacle. What about lack of support? Some people, I have that written down for my own, like lack of support. Sometimes we feel like we don't have support. Sometimes we feel like that. What about pain? We're talking about obstacles that will prevent you from meeting your expectations. What about relationships, friendships, loyalty? Sometimes we're so loyal to things, not necessarily always people. Sometimes we're so loyal to jobs. It's not always people. It's not always things. It could be jobs that we won't raise our level of expectation because it's like this space, like you're so loyal, is because it's like you're turning your back on them, or you're leaving somebody, or you wonder what they're going to think. That's an obstacle that could keep you from reaching or meeting your own the expectation that you set. So when we allow those obstacles to keep us from moving toward our expectation, we meet the expectation of that obstacle. Y'all get what I'm saying? So now we don't move at all. And you got to move, especially if you want to. If you want to. if you want to. So take a moment and identify. I think you all have identified some of them. Take a moment and identify any obstacle that that's currently preventing you from getting what you want, or that you think will prevent you from getting what you want. Write it down. I know you got some paper somewhere. Write it down. Any obstacle, identify it. Like Arlene said, being distracted by others. Yeah. Because again, what expectation is wrapped up in that? What keeps you there in that distraction? And we have to own that. We have to acknowledge what that is. Which of your personal obstacles do you normally succumb to? Like, which of your obstacles, like when you're trying to do something, or you're trying to elevate or change or whatever, what obstacle do you normally give in to that'll cause you to stop? Is it what somebody said, or lack of support, or fear? Because it's uncharted territory, or it's unfamiliar to you, so you don't. Like, which one will cause you to not even move, to not even try to reach your expectation? Expectations can be uncomfortable, especially when it's new territory, or you're growing and you're evolving. It can be, like we said sometimes earlier, we said it can be lonely. You can be isolated. You can feel isolated. But if it's what you want, you go for it. If you have to do it alone, if it's what you want, you have every right to go after it. Every right. Every right. Every right. How exactly are the obstacles manifesting in your life? So that's what we're talking about now. So these questions are kind of in this conversation. You know, if you have identified any obstacles that is preventing you from getting what you want in your life, or achieving what you want as far as the expectations you have, how are these obstacles manifesting in your life? Like, what are the triggers? What do they make you do? How do they stop you? What do they cause in you? Do it make you go back and think, well, last time I did this happened? Or every time I do this happened? Or I know if I do this, they're going to say this. Is that how it's manifesting? Is that how it's showing up? Is self-doubt showing up? Fear of failure? And then ask yourself, why do I allow it? Like, what about me makes me succumb to it? And you have to build yourself up. You have to hold yourself accountable. Because think about everybody else doing what they want to do. Why not you? Why not you? Why not me? Why not us? You owe it to ourselves. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to. You owe it to yourself to raise your level of expectations. And again, you know, raising your level of expectations is multifaceted. It can be, you can put that anywhere. And a lot of times we have found ourselves living under the expectations of other people. And like I said earlier, it's not always a bad thing that we've done that. I just want us to understand that we have to have our own expectation. It's okay to have expectations from other people that you love, your spouses, your parents, your children, different things like that. Just don't get so caught up in that being the only expectation. Because expectations go along with relationships, you know, or situations and things like that. So if you have a relationship with your children, you have a relationship with your spouse, your parents, your grandparents, things like that, there should be a degree of expectation, or it should be voiced or expected between whoever is involved in that relationship, what the expectation of both parties are. It should be voiced. It should be. But then you also should have your own level of expectation for yourself that has nothing to do with them, pretty much. Unless it's something that kind of coincides some kind of way. But you don't get so caught up in living out other people's expectation of yourself. You deserve your own expectations, and we don't want to you have to watch our realistic unexpectations, but we won't get into the unrealistic expectations. We want to make sure, like this show tonight, and we're done. This show tonight is about raising our level of expectations. Like I said a few minutes ago, a lot of times we don't even think about an expectation for ourselves because we're so busy working and being a wife, mother, and boss and entrepreneur and sister and auntie and caregiver, that we don't even think about an expectation of ourselves. So I encourage you all to think about your own expectations and make the necessary changes that you want to make. It's okay that people have expectations of us, but just make sure that they're fair. Make sure that you are not living up to their expectations only. And then make sure the expectation is something you want to do. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And like we said earlier, sometimes when you start to set your expectations, your personal expectations, and you start to voice your own expectations, or you start to act out in your own expectations, sometimes people will fall off, and not because it doesn't serve them, or sometimes their motive of you or being around you and with you and connected to you was not right. So we have to be prepared for those types of things, but just keep it moving. Because if somebody gets upset with you for voicing or raising your level of expectation or setting boundaries or something like that, then they probably didn't mean no good anyway, if they get upset. Now, a lot of times, like I said earlier, we have spent a lot of years living and working other people's expectations of us. So a lot of times when we wake up, like a lot of us are waking up and we're coming into ourselves in our 40s and we're 50s, and now we're like, okay, it's about me, it's me season, it's me time, I'm finna apply some pressure. When we get there and we stop meeting their expectations, they get upset. It can cause isolation. It can cause relationships to end. It can cause some things. So just be aware of that and stick to what your expectations is. Don't allow guilt trips. I'm just saying it. You do what it is you want to do, but make sure you have expectations for yourself. That's all I'm saying. That's all this broadcast was about, is raising your level of expectation. If you've been at this level of expectations for too long, only you can answer that. It's time for you to raise your expectation and get you your own expectation of what you want out of life, what you want out of your career, what you want out of whatever. Make sure it's your expectation of what you want, especially as we go into this new year. A lot of people are saying what they're going to do in this me season and all of that. Well, make sure that it's your own expectation and not for the approval of people, places, or things, or situations. Yeah, you want to make sure that the expectation is yours. And that is all I have for raising your level of expectations. Just make sure that as you move into this new year, that you are operating under your expectations and not someone else's. And that's that. You have that right. So I thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm asking you all to keep my family in prayer as we prepare to lay my mother's sister, Aggie McFall, to rest this weekend. That is the mother of my cousin Denise Everhart and Davy Everhart. So just keep our family in prayer as we begin to lay their mother, my aunt, and my mother's sister to rest on Saturday. So just keep our family in prayer. Y'all know what happens at funerals and things like that. So please, list our family in prayer and cover us in prayer and keep us from all of the nonsense. And just pray for my cousin as they lay their mother to rest. So I appreciate it. Also, if you're on my PC Ministries page, I have a 20 women in all white photo shoot January the 21st of next year. And I'm only taking the first 20 ladies that would like to be a part of the photo shoot. There's no cost and none of that stuff for you. And right now, I think I have a few more slots left. So if you would like to be a part of PC Ministries, 20 women in all white, doesn't matter the shape, size, you can wear. It doesn't matter. There's a mission behind this that I just want to show some unity in the community, and just get some women together. And it's all white. It's gonna be all white. I don't care if you wear shorts, white jeans, a church dress, a tube top, a halter top, crop top. I don't care as long as it's white and it's your flavor. Okay, your hair could be red, blue, green, bald, blonde. It's up to you. So if you would like to be a part of that photo shoot, it's going to be Saturday, January the 21st. Time and location will be announced once we finalize everything. Just shoot me an inbox on my PC Ministries page and just let me know. Say, hey, I'd like to be a part of the photo shoot, and I will put you down. Again, I'm taking the first 20 ladies only. So if I don't respond to you in your inbox, just know that we hit the limit. And there will be other things. So I appreciate you all for joining in tonight. Our next PC Ministries will be next Thursday. I'm not sure what that date is. I think it's the 15th or the 12th, 13th. I think it's the 15th. Anyway, it'll be next Thursday night at 8 p.m. I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful night and an even better weekend. Love y'all.